Yeah, I got my toes in the sand. Wish you were here. Off in the tropics. It's Baja, Jim, you know? Um, Warm breezes, the rhythm of the ocean. Okay, okay. And where cheers, cheers. There you go. Is that real? Okay. All right. I just wanted to start off with a little nonsense, just, because I know you beach dudes and beach babes wish you were here with your toes in the sand with me, but Spokane, it's just another day in Spokane, okay? So, yeah, okay, we got a whole pile of stuff. Let me come back to reality. Here, let's do some magic. Well, just like nothing ever happened. Only thing is, I've got some remaining evidence. Jeez, I own this shirt. This is my personal, well, one of several tropical shirts. Look at this thing. This is amazing. Okay, there you go. I got a boatload of stuff I need to do. I think I have to do 2 videos. If you look at the syllabus, we have a multitude, maybe a plethora of topics tonight, like communication, response functions, forecasting, global marketing, ethics. We do stuff on a little bit on personal. Okay, got a whole boatload of things here. And we got articles that folks did. They posted those up, right? Those are out there, posted on Google Docs. And then a quantitative assignment that you're going to hand in via Turnitin. And I'm going to look at it, and the grades we posted, there's a new grade thing out there. I'll tell you in an email, but it's called My Grades. It's underneath content, our new favorite place to go for this class. And so, yeah, it's going to take a couple videos, and I'm up for it. I've been kind of stalling on this, pretending I'm in the tropics. You can run, but you can't hide, right? So the quantitative exercise, I got an email or two from folks that their books have been abandoned. So help your pals out. If they need a page or two, you don't necessarily need them to do the assignment, but if there's a page or two that, the book asks you some things, gives you some suggestions with regard to some of those metrics. And if your pal needs a page or two, help them out. Just scan them and PDF them to them. Can you do the class in the end without a book? Well, seems like you need it. I mean, I'll highlight stuff that's from the book, and I'll do it today when I'm, and I'll show you things from the book. Maybe the lecture, the stuff I do on each chapter, video, maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't you like to have the insurance of having a book? Okay. Well, there are some thoughts on that. So, yeah, I've learned how to use the pause button on this thing. So I might do that a time or two as I collect my thoughts. So let me look at as I scan over here, I'm looking at my notes. Can I put them so I almost kind of look at you when I'm looking at my notes? Not really. Okay, let's do assignment crapola. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got? Assignment crapola for next week. Colleen, what do you say? Einhorn and Hogarth, 2 guys that have a lot to do with how people make decisions, how we know things, how we make decisions. And one or the other of them is dead, and you can't tell which one it is. Then another article, this is for next week, April 16th. Thinking Fast and Slow by Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner. Him and Kahneman and Tversky came up with a lot of behavioral economic stuff. Kahneman wrote this thing, Thinking Fast and Slow. And what I've given you, Max, Brendan, are some maybe a couple summaries. So you got to summarize the summaries, okay? And you don't need to tell us the 49 whatever decision-making errors people make, or maybe just give us some categories on that. Be merciful when you post that up. Fortunately, you don't have to listen to you talk. Oh, hold it. All right, just post up golden nuggets, okay? That's also April 16th. Oh, look, Flash versus Blink. Jen, Francesca is joining you on that. Do you know about that? So Jen and Francesca are doing Flash versus Blink, which is kind of, here's what's happening next week. We're stepping into whole brain decision making. We're leaving the textbook behind. We're off to some material that's kind of, some that's kind of entertaining, some interesting, intuition and creativity and how you think. It's decision making stuff, and it's the right brain side of decision making. We let other people do the quantitative stuff. Here we're doing intuition and creativity. Okay, that's what's happening. Then Zaltman, killer article. Rory and Anthony, you lucky guys. But here, be merciful on us. Just kind of get to the 9 premises kind of thing. You don't have to describe, you got a page, right? You don't have to describe the whole methodology, but fortunately you're not making a presentation on it. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't really talk like that, but yeah, got to post it up. We'll get what we need by looking at that stuff. So put those things, those summaries, those golden nuggets out there on Google Docs, and we'll all be happy. And then Sarah, the incredible Agor article, that's about intuition. So we're kind of moving into whole brain decision making, the right side of the brain, throwing that in. Okay, let's vote. Let's do a survey. That's what we're going to do. Who here would like to be a whole brain decision maker? That's my hand. Yeah, you got 2 sides of your brain. It's not just all analytical. A lot of heavy stuff on analytical stuff with big data and all that jazz, okay? We kind of looked at that a bit in the past. We had thick data versus big data. Here we're stepping off totally into the right brain of decision making because we have 2 sides of our brain. That's more a metaphor than anything, but several of you, at least 3 or 4 of you raised your hand, want to use your whole brain in making decisions. Okay, so Sarah, intuition, the Agor article, strategic intuition, is that what it's called? Then there's an FYI article, but anyway, so there's those 5 articles for next week, no case. And then the last case is the week after that, just to remind you who's doing that, because we usually identify those 2 weeks in advance. Blair water filters, hot dog. We're off to darkest India for this thing. We got the Alexes, the triplets, Alex B, Alex S, Alec Muck. Okay, so all the Alexes and Natalie, just to kind of balance them out. So you're presenters on this thing. You write the case up and you get your automatic presentation grade that we've determined. And then the critiquers, we got the dynamic twosome again, Jen and Francesca. Again, how many things you've done together this semester in this class? Okay, so you're a team doing a critique, you write the case up, okay? And you get the automatic critique grade. And then Max and Joe A are critiquers. That's the last case. That's the 23rd of April. Okay, I'm catching that some people aren't checking in on these videos like maybe they should and catching all the important things I'm telling you. So encourage your pals. I mean, whatever you need to do, that there's stuff that isn't just nonsense, me in a Hawaiian shirt. There's stuff okay, today is going to be 2 videos. It's going to take 2. Okay, so those are the, and when you do those, that last case, post just your executive summary to Google Docs. There's a little spot out there for just executive summaries. And then you put the write-up of your case out there on Turnitin, where case assignments go. Okay, just to kind of coordinate things where stuff gets stuck so I don't have to look all over to try to find things. is part of it. And your classmates can find stuff that they want. They don't want your whole article. They want the executive summary. Geez, okay, send me an email if any of that makes sense, okay? Oh, God, okay. Quantitative assignment, Thursday, tomorrow. Check it out. Okay, here's a couple leftover things. And did I bring them up to show you? I feel like, I feel like I didn't. Is that true? Yeah, I think I left, I only brought about 8 file folders and left the one downstairs in my office. Okay, thank God for the pause button. You won't even know what happened. You won't even know what happened. Oh, just like nothing happened. I only have 12 file folders up here with me and still forgot one of the 12. Okay, so there's a couple leftover things that I missed last time, just for what it's worth. One of the key topics in the Levitt article that Jackie did for us, right, Jackie? Is the idea of managing expectations, making a promise, a credible expectation, making a buying promise, a credible expectation. And so that's Levitt. And here was a personal example. There was one in that article there about getting insulation done, but I described that. You can check out the article about that. But here's a personal example of managing the expectation. I got a garage door opener, and my neighbors are amazed. They come by just to watch. It's like magic. I pull up in my car, and the thing opens up for me. Pull the car in, and it closes. The neighbors, in my neighborhood, this is pretty exciting stuff. So here was one bid I got. There it is. That's a bid I got. I think they even put the highlighted things with the yellow. That's one bid I got, okay? Here, took some measurements, walked around, itemized things. There it is, okay? Here was another bid I got. Okay, there it is, that's the bid, okay? And which one managed my expectations better? I mean, literally, this guy put it on the back of his business card. That's a lot like the story in the article. Back of the business card. There it is. Versus these guys. These guys even gave me a picture of what my house could look like if I didn't live here in the ghetto. That's what my house could look like. It doesn't, but it could look like that. All I got to do is tear where I live down and build over. Okay, so that's managing expectations, making a buying promise, a credible expectation. And so here's one last thing. We haven't looked at this in a while. Let's throw this down. No, let's put this in it before I throw it on the floor. We haven't looked at this in a while. How zeroed in can I get? Let's do this, because I might have to do this for a thing or two today. Ooh. That's, is that in focus for you? I wonder what it's focusing on. Is it focusing on that, or is it focusing on me? Well, this is our customer relationship management model. Managing the customer. I wonder if I should just hold, no, I hold it up, it shakes too much. I don't know why. And then I drop it on the floor, of course. Let's hold it for a minute. There it is. That's a handout we have in the packet. Customer relationship management, managing the complete relationship with the customer from linking to them. Okay, so You know, linking to the customer. How do you do it? Surveys, cybernetic intimacy, TCI, total customer integration, spending a day in the life, quantitative approach, qualitative, respond to needs and wants, serving the customer, developing the offering, it says, and customer service, we zeroed in on that. And then delivering the offering. How about this? Wow, we talked about that. Feelings, value, A, part of the class, and CB, that's consumer behavior, and there's managing the evidence, like we've been talking about. Maintain the relationship, that's down here. Where am I? There. You know, more intimacy, loyalty, and then learning from defections. That was an article we had, linked to the customer yet again, and kind of circling back. So there's that picture, customer relationship management. That's where a few of the topics that we deal with this semester get displayed. Managing the evidence is there. That's maybe the most recent, maybe the last thing that gets hung on this diagram. So I guess I have to hold them and talk about them. Okay, so get rid of that and take the plunge. God, how's this going to work? Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's going to work. So I'm going to put a little clip up here so I can hang stuff where I can see some of it. There we go. And here I am. Okay, so where do we want to start? We want to start with handout 48, it says here. And 48 is right here. Let's see. It's in this, geez, I'm going nuts for this pause button. Just like nothing happened. Handout 48. Okay, so this kind of sets the scene. And in some places in the textbook and in these handouts, it says advertising, but we're looking at promotion in general. And so 4 components of the promotion mix or blend, you know, this is generally the broad categories. And yeah, we can use them. It's advertising, one category, publicity. Both those are mass approaches, you know, through the mass media, non-personal approaches, advertising, publicity. And the difference is that advertising has an identified sponsor, you pay for the space, the time, whatever. Publicity is coverage as news reporting. You don't pay for the space or time. It might cost you stuff to stimulate publicity, but okay, so advertising, publicity, mass approaches, publicity you don't necessarily have to pay for. And then personal selling, we're going to have a little module on that at the end of this. We'll see. Well, at the end of the first part of this, personal selling, and then one catch-all category called sales promotion. That's the 4th category, sales promotion. And this is this grab bag of everything else. I mean, it's contests and coupons and giveaways and the Goodyear blimp and, you know, all this other stuff. Where does that stuff go? Well, it's sales promotion activities. So that's what you've got there for the 4 broad categories. Here's the thing that we looked at. You've seen this. This kind of got at some stuff. Okay, one more time. God, getting rolling today. It's going to work. Just like nothing happened once again. Okay, you've seen this before. It says CB, consumer behavior, handout 20. it showed this box. Remember that arrows going all over the place, that consumer behavior diagram? It had this little matrix out on the outer edge, on the left-hand edge, and this is what really goes in there. It's all this promotion activity. And so we got mass versus personal, marketer dominated versus general. And so, like I said, mass approaches, it says advertising, publicity, okay, but marketer dominated because I'm identified sponsor. General is news reporting. And then personal, how about personal selling, marketer dominated personal selling. And then other places here, we've got like sales promo stuff. I mean, we got direct mail, demonstrations, sponsorships, digital stuff, salesperson, trade, sales promo, all those things you do, sales promo, demand stimulating stuff that's not advertising, publicity, or personal selling. Everything else goes under sales promo, trade shows, digital. And then digital here for public relation, publicity, and for word of mouth, word of mouth, literal word of mouth from friends, family, people you meet, and digital, people posting stuff up. So there's a little categorization of these promotion activities, and all these activities. So a lot of the, like I said, a lot of these diagrams, handouts, models, whatever, say advertising, but not just they don't just apply to advertising. They apply to this whole range of promotion activities. So here's one thing, it's think about the communication process. All these means of promotion are trying to communicate with the customer. And so you got this basic model. You've seen this before. It's just a flow of the communication process. And so all that promotion, all those promotion activities, some of it's more obvious than others, but all of it is trying to work through this. We've got some sender of the message, the source, and then we got the receiver of the message. And all those, advertising, personal selling, yeah, it's real obvious, but publicity, but sales promo stuff, okay? So it's all moving through this communication model. You got some message. You can think about the way you want people to think, feel, what you want to do. I think that message. And then you got the channel that message goes through. And it could be a lot of things. Obviously advertising, salesperson talking to a customer, but how about, and this is an example I use sometimes, how about the color of your earth moving equipment? How about the fit and finish of your law office? You could be communicating at those times too. Okay, so those 4 types, 4 categories of promotion are moving through this process, suffice it to say. Advertising, publicity, personal selling, and sales promo stuff. So what are you trying to do with all promotion? All promotion. Here's kind of simply put, here's what you're trying to do. Let's see if we can look at this in pieces. I just zero in on one piece of it. What if I hide this a little bit here? How about that right there? Just that part, right? Okay. This way, hide this one. Okay. All promotion. That's a demand curve, right? We're trying to move the demand curve to the right. All promotion, including the Goodyear blimp. It's trying to increase demand at the current price. Okay. That's one thing. All promotion, advertising, whole range of things, personal selling. That's one thing it's trying to do. Move the demand curve to the right. Another thing that all promotion is trying to do is make demand more inelastic, more vertical, right? There it is, more vertical. So moving that demand curve so we have more control over price, okay? So what's all promotion trying to do? Shift the demand curve to the right, higher volume at the same price, make the demand curve more inelastic, more vertical, have more control over price, can raise my price. And then how about the combo? The combo is at this end over here. There it is, the combo. Do both. Move the demand curve to the right and make it more inelastic. Do both of them, okay? And so all promotion is trying to do that, okay? So that's a little intro, thinking about promotion in general, application in general to a range of things. And here, let's jump into, if you are ready, let's jump into chapter 10. This is the best, this is the last chapter in BEST. We're done with it. So here is an initial thing that BEST does. He shows you a version of the hierarchy of effects model. And you've seen the hierarchy of effects model. Here's BEST's version of it. And I'll show you some other versions, and I'll show you the one that I'm pretty sure you've seen. So here you go. Even have a page number for those who have textbooks. Okay, for those that don't have textbooks, is this enough? There it is, page 355. And it says this is like 1015. I like this one better than what's in the textbook. It's from an older version of the textbook. And so what do you have here? You have this progression. You have this, the idea is the jobs that promotion's trying to do. First, you're trying to expose the market to your product, your message. You're trying to gain awareness, like they pay attention to it, like they're clued into it. Next, you with me? Exposure, awareness, like attention. Come up, comprehension. Do they understand what you're saying? Do they get it? And then intentions. That's the idea of your plan to purchase the product, and then you move them to action, okay? This is the book's version. And one of the points is, if you're not cutting in, connecting with the customer at this end, exposure and awareness end, if those things aren't happening, good luck with the rest of it's just going to fall apart, right? So it points up the importance of gaining exposure to your message, to your product, getting awareness, pay attention once they are exposed, and then moving forward, understanding, planning on, intention, planning, and then moving them to action. Okay, so that's called a hierarchy of effects model, and that's the one that's in the book, and they calculate it out as CRI, customer response index. Okay, whatever. I mean, BEST loves metrics. And that's why I have you doing that assignment, doing couple of those metrics from the textbook. But here's another metric. But the point is, the flow of this thing, this is the job that all promotion's trying to do. So here's some other versions of this hierarchy of effects model. Let's see if I can find them here. Or are they over here in this other file? They well could be in this other file. Let's grab them from this other file. Here's one. Okay, yeah, this is the one. You've seen one of these before. These are all hierarchy of effects models. These don't start with exposure, but that's kind of the basic beginning point, like BEST notes. You've seen this one. Where is it? You've seen, oh God. Okay, I can do it. You've seen this one before. The AIDA model: attention, interest, desire, action, or awareness, interest, desire, action. You've seen that before. These are other versions of what I showed you that BEST does. They're the same kind of idea. It's like you're moving from a cognitive aspect to thinking, from a thinking kind of orientation to a feeling kind of orientation. So it goes from cognitive to affective, and conative, that's conation, is behavior. The action, that's what's happening here. Cognitive, attention, interest, maybe kind of moving into more affective, so cognitive. Desire, that's totally affective, and then action, that's conation. So for what it's worth, there's this flow of the hierarchy of effects model. All promotion, all those four categories are trying to move the customer along that progression from attention awareness, comprehension, understanding, to some desire, some preference, feeling thing, onto behavior, making the decision to buy the product or intending to buy the product, then moving on to buying the product. So here is something I thought it's kind of interesting. I'll show you this. This is an old time. Do I have that over here with the best stuff? Oh yeah, there it is. So I don't have to mess around with the cardboard. This is an old time hierarchy of effects model. Look at this. And check out at the bottom here. What's the date? Hints to intending advertisers, London, 1885. 1885. The hierarchy of effects. Look at this. Look at this is something that was put together. Hints to intending advertisers, 1985. A guy named Thomas Smith put this together back in the day, the bygone day. And look at this. Wisdom is not always new. 19th century analysis of consumer behavior discloses, and this is a hierarchy of effects. First time a man looks at the advertisement, he doesn't see it. He's kind of exposed to it, but he's not paying attention. Second time, he doesn't notice it. Third time, he's conscious that it exists. Now we're breaking through, exposing the individual to the message. Now we're gaining attention and awareness that it really, you live on planet Earth. There's that confounded thing again. The ninth time, he wonders if it amounts to anything. Oh, starting to think about it. 10th time, he asks his neighbors if they've tried it. 12th time, he thinks perhaps it's worth something. 14th, how many times you're exposed to this message and moving this guy down the hierarchy of effects model. 19th time, counts his money carefully. 20th time, he sees it, he buys it, or instructs his wife to do so. Woman, go buy me that stuff. That's 1885. You could do that then. Okay, so hierarchy of effects, all promotion, and some things aren't new, like this ancient hierarchy of effects model. You got the best version right out of your book. You got the AIDA model that you've seen before, moving folks through those steps and stages of the hierarchy of effects model. Okay, that's pretty exciting, I'd say. And here's another hierarchy of effects kind of related deal from the textbook. It kind of shows the drop-off. This doesn't have exposure, but it has two different levels of awareness. 30% versus 80%. And, moving, this doesn't have exposure and it moves on to loyalty, They're kind of the same deal, and it's the drop-off. If you don't cut through in the early stages of the model, if you're not exposing the market to the message, and you're not gaining awareness or attention, then good luck at the far end here, because there's this attrition, drop-off as you move across this model, move down to ultimately making a purchase, and this one goes beyond it to loyalty. Okay, this says advertising, all promotion. Okay, so what else you get in chapter 10? Let's see. You get some You get some technical kind of stuff like reach. I don't know if that's all that, the idea is being able to reach your target market, knowing the media habits of your target customer and linking to them through the media that they use. And Best just doesn't do a lot on digital stuff, thinking about, but he shows you, well, I mentioned some social media stuff, brand, here's some social media he throws in there. Does anybody, MySpace, does that still exist? Put objectives and brand building, information exchange, problem solving. I mean, some of these social media kind of connections and yeah, so he kind of gets at that. What are the media habits of your customers? Think about younger folks in particular in that example, and how can you connect with them? Reach, connecting with that that customer. Here's the last thing. Is this last? No. It's second to the, or third to the. Here's the idea of push versus pull strategies. And you can use any of these four categories to push. You can use any of these four categories to pull. And you saw that in Principles of Marketing. But here's just to remind you once more time. Pull strategy. Who's the point is, who are you talking to? Pull strategy, you're talking to the customer or potential customers. See, target audience. And here's how you might do that: advertising, social media, digital stuff, whatever, sales, promo, direct marketing, personal selling, even. You're talking to the customer, and the idea, you're building up demand. What's it say right here? Oh God. Okay, try to keep it straight and read it too. Build end customer awareness, interest, purchase, and loyalty. Well, moving them through that hierarchy of effects model, but you're talking to the end customer. That's a pull strategy. You're building up demand at the customer level. Okay, so you might load up more on that than on push. It depends on your philosophy, your strategy. Procter & Gamble does a lot of pull. Procter & Gamble's product, Tide and Gleam and Gillette and Head & Shoulder, whatever, a whole bunch of them. They load up on pull. They talk to you a lot, but they still do push. What's push? Okay, the target audience for push, channel members, okay? And so sales incentives it mentions over here, financing, co-op advertising, helping those folks. So you're talking to channel members. You're making it attractive for them to carry, making it easy for them to sell your product, giving them margins that make it attractive. And so you're building channel interest, purchase, inventory, marketing effort, push objectives. So you're not going to, Unilever sells a lot of the same category of products as Procter & Gamble. Their products, but you don't know them as well as Procter & Gamble. They have a different philosophy. Unilever emphasizes push more. Still do pull stuff, but what do you emphasize? So that's push versus pull. Refresh your mind on that. That's in chapter 10 of the best book. It's a book for the class, okay? And then I think, here we go. Here's something that's a springboard off into a whole thing I want to talk about. Advertising elasticity. You think of advertising or promotion or the components of promotion, personal selling, publicity, sales promo tools, or you can just group them all together as promotion elasticity. But what are we looking at here? Remember when we talked about price? And we had price elasticity of demand. Strike the word elastic, stick in the word sensitive. And that's what we're talking about here. Here we got the percentage change in sales over the percentage change in ad expense or some other promotion activity expense, or we're going to generalize this even beyond that. So here, we're taking the idea of elasticity from price elasticity of demand, microeconomics. We're taking that idea and applying it more broadly. How sensitive is the market to changes in your advertising budget? Is it sensitive? If I change my advertising budget up or down, does the market jump? Meaning, is it real elastic? Or is it kind of inelastic? It doesn't change much when I change my ad budget. Okay, it doesn't change much. So here we're talking advertising, but back to the idea it's generalizable to other things. Taking the idea of elasticity, sensitivity from economics, pricing, and applying it to other areas. Okay, we're going to get at that pretty quick here, but that's elasticity. So I wonder if this is a good time to stick in a couple of comments on, let me look, don't go anywhere. Yeah, let's make a couple comments on one of the articles for tonight, or this afternoon, or today, or whenever. And I think you're on board with the idea that you can look at these whenever you want to, and as many times as you want to. And just to warn you, some of the prior ones I've only done 2 prior videos. I don't know, they lasted maybe an hour and a half. I'm going to have to do 2 of them. Check the syllabus. I'll remind you when I get down the road a little further here, but I'm going to have to do a couple on this bunch of topics that are listed out for today. Okay, so here are a couple things. Let's look at the Batra article. Just make a couple quick comments. You got the wonderful summary that was done by Maris and Jade. Hot dog, okay. So let's find that and see what. God, this was a killer article. I mean, it was out of the Journal of Marketing, and it went on and on, trying to cut to the point of the thing. And I tried to guide you all, and they even had some old school. They mentioned the AIDA model on page 124. Customer journey or the path to purchase. I mean, the AIDA model is a old time kind of thing. This purchase funnel, as you drill down. It doesn't capture the different stages involved, it says, but now it moves toward the journey and how promotion helps a customer negotiate the journey. Well, whatever, I don't know. I mean, the AIDA model still makes sense. It's a simple model. And so here's some comments. I mean, they talk about, prior academic research. So this is IMC, Integrated Marketing Communication. They're looking across the board. And so they look at prior research, micro approach, looking at consumer psychology, consumer behavior, macro approach, looking at econometrics. This is like economics kind of stuff. And they talk about older versus newer media, older like print in particular, they talk about in the evaluation stage of making a decision. And then newer approaches. Well, newer, what's newer? Older was print, newer is, oh yeah, radio, television. Well, then they throw in online. So creating awareness and maybe interest. So, yeah, understanding the process. Let's see, where do we get? They've got this communication matching model that's kind of like a hierarchy of effects model. And this is, it has like 12 steps. And if you look in the article, they skip step number 8, which is, what was step number 8? That's like you consume the product. Yeah. Number 8, they just figure you got that, but they have all these other things, recognize an unmet need, begins considering the specific brand, actively learning about the brand options, decides that information is credible for decision making, is willing, moving on, stage 7, is willing to pay, still needs to make this like its intention. Number 8, they consume the product. Okay, they skip number 8. They don't show you that in the list here. And then 9 and 10 thinks about repurchasing maybe, and 11 and 12 start doing word of mouth stuff and become loyal kind of consumers. But so it gives you a little historic kind of perspective. And this is the Keller Batra article. What's the title? Integrated Marketing Communications, New Findings, New Lessons, New Ideas. And here, is this kind of a quick summary of the thing? Integrated marketing communications are coordinated, consistent means by which firms attempt to inform, incent, persuade, and remind customers directly or indirectly about products and brands they sell. Through the understanding of the consumer decision-making journey, okay, and the communication process, the authors outline a comprehensive framework that is designed to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of IMC programs. And what are you trying to do? You think about some of the intentions of communication. We got the AIDA model, moving folks along to the point of purchase, but you want to inform, influence, educate, persuade. What are you trying to do with your communication dollars? And if you want more on that, check out on Google Docs, where a wonderful golden nugget thing is waiting for you. Then, what the heck? Okay. Then here's a couple handouts for what they're worth. Just kind of make a little segue here as I get ready for a more significant topic. Handout, what do you got? Oh, God. Okay. Well, 52. It's this. This is getting noticed. Shine a spotlight on your business. 21 low-cost marketing moves. This is for the little guy. Handout 52. The little guy. Do a blog, cultivate loyalty, mine your data, distribute content, speak up, like make presentations at local activities, email, get the email addresses. So it's just there's 21, it goes on and on. Make employees sales tools, reward referrals. Okay, become a specialist, post a video. And it goes on, do op-ed stuff. Use what you've got. I don't know, exploit the web, post a video. Where's this going? Anyway, should you ever want it? Some of this stuff I give you is, it's the capstone class, trying to push it to the boundary, wrap stuff up for the marketing concentration, and give you some stuff to take with you that might be useful in my humble estimation. And so this is like a little how to: hit the streets, use your space, team up. Anyway, I'm not going to go. If you're the little guy and trying to get noticed, trying to connect, here's some how to, a little simple little thing that I thought was interesting. Should a marketing person want to get noticed on a budget? There you go. So that's 52, handout 52, handout 53. Well, it's about event marketing. And it talks about the importance of events, and yeah. Gives you some further reading on target markets and event marketing. There it is. You know, a little how to handy kind of thing. That's 53. And 54, okay, well, I'll show you that. It's in your packet. It's just kind of entertaining for one thing. But besides that, it kind of makes a transition that we're going to do like next class period. This is handout 54. There's Edna. Oh, geez. Edna is a sad lady in 1925. Often a bridesmaid, but never a bride. This was an advertisement. Why am I showing this? I don't know. You know, there's Edna in 1925. Let's see, what does it say? I can read it. Edna's case was really a pathetic one. Like every woman, her primary ambition was to marry. There you go. Most of the girls in her set were married or about to be, yet not one possessed more grace or charm or loveliness than she. And as her birthdays crept gradually toward the tragic 30 mark, this, I'm trying not to get too choked up on this. Tragic 30 mark, marriage seemed further from her life than ever. She was always a bridesmaid, but never a bride. This was an advertisement for Listerine. This girl had halitosis, and it had ruined her life, just about. I mean, she's getting close to that tragic 30 mark, and her main ambition was to marry. Okay, what the heck? What's that about? That's nonsense. But also on this handout is your whole brain. Handout 54. There's your whole brain. And we're going to go zooming in on the right side of your brain. There's your left side, all that quantitative, analytical, linear language and math and science and all that stuff, logic. That's all swell. But how about the right side? Because at least 4 of us wanted to be whole brain decision makers. And here we have art appreciation, dance, perception, fantasy, sculpture. What's that one say? Music, you know, all the creative, intuitive side of things. It's a metaphor. It's what it really is for 2 ways of approaching thinking. Okay, let's hand out 54. Just FYI, kind of prepping things. I'm not sure what Edna had to do with stuff, but prepping stuff for the future. So, oops, let's see. Maybe I want to put this. Yeah, okay, I did that. Here's where I'm going. I want to talk about sales response functions. Real bad. I want to do that real bad. Because this links to promotion and the idea of elasticity, emotional elasticity, advertising elasticity. So coming off of chapter 10, and this leads, elasticity stuff leads pretty much to this concept of a sales response function. This is kind of a big deal for this video. So, okay. I regroup here. And that pause button, I'm kind of fond of that now that I've found it. And I can be smoother by just hitting it. Back so soon. Okay, this is handout 51. And here's what we're getting at. There's two categories of decision making. So we're building up, the main event here is sales response function, SRF. That's the main event, but we're building up to it and talking about some things along the way that are worth noting. So, two types of decisions. One is course of action decisions, discrete decisions. It's like the on and off switch on an off light switch. There it says light switch, on or off. And it's like those competing alternatives in a case write-up. Do one thing or do the other thing. The other category of decisions is continuous. How much decisions? And for certain variables, that's an important decision. How much? How much are you going to spend on advertising? How much are you going to spend on invest in new product development? How many salespeople should you hire? Okay, those are continuous. How much decisions? Like a dimmer switch on a light. A lot of light, higher volume of expenditure, a little light, a lower volume. Okay, you got the idea there? So those are the two categories of decisions. And so we got discrete and we've got continuous. So for discrete decisions, evaluating the alternatives, the pros and cons is kind of what you're doing. It's like in cases, it says there. So you might develop some criteria, important concerns that you have. And I've kind of mentioned that with regard to the case analysis stuff. What are the criteria you're going to compare these competing options on? So there are two categories. So use models, it says down here. There's two categories, broad categories of decision models. And maybe in consumer behavior, you cross paths with some of these. Use models to evaluate. You got the set of criteria, you got the competing options. You could use something like a compensatory model. Okay, that's what that says there. Compensatory. Weakness on one criteria can be compensated for by strength on another criteria, or a non-compensatory model. It mentions disjunctive, conjunctive. Okay, what's the idea here? So you can't read that, but it's handout 51. And I try to encourage you to get your pause on these handouts. So when I talk about them, you can kind of be clued in a little bit. So for non-compensatory models, we're comparing this is discrete course of action decisions. Non-compensatory, I mean, it mentions a couple types there. And like, like a conjunctive, you go with the first one that has the levels of the variables you want. You just stop looking after you find the one that's got, you got these criteria, you want a certain level of those criteria, you just stop. And you find the first one that does that. Another approach is disjunctive. That's conjunctive. It mentions conjunctive here, disjunctive. Disjunctive, you select the first, well, I mean, okay. you go down the list and find one that has the highest levels of the criteria. So conjunctive is kind of a satisficing kind of thing. The first one has what you want. Disjunctive is kind of like maximizing. You find the one that has the highest levels of those variables. Another one mentioned, you could think about lexicographic. You kind of go variable by variable, find the one that, you'll select all those that have a minimum level on a certain variable. Then you go look at that group and select a group out of that, reduce the group, looking at the next variable, the next criteria, and which ones have, okay, and just progress. Okay. Different tools, kind of rules of thumb, shortcut kind of things to make decisions. That's non-compensatory. Here's a little more sophisticated approach, the compensatory approach. And I give you this handout. It's kind of old time because of the automobiles that are there. But, here we've got these. This is a weighted attribute model, a compensatory model, because I'm looking at these cars and I've got these variables. I got some more subjective items and some more objective, like cost is pretty objective. Style, that's pretty subjective. Comfort's kind of pretty subjective. So here's what I've got. I've got these criteria or attributes, and I've weighted them. I got cost, comfort, style, handling, reliability, resale for automobiles, and I gave them a weight as to total to 100 or 1, but 0.15 for cost, 0.25 for comfort, 0.1 for style. And so I got the weights as the total 1. And then I rank each vehicle. So I got this Oldsmobile. They make that anymore. Cadillac, Lincoln, got that. Mercury. I know Mercury's gone. So I have my weight for the attribute across the top. And then I rank the 5 vehicles. There's 5 of them with regard to where they fit on with regard to that variable. And so like cost, Oldsmobile gets a 3. I'm wondering if I just forgot to unpause something. Oh, geez. I'm going to pause this right now, and I'll have to start a new video because I think I forgot to unpause the button. Okay, I'm going to stop this one right here and see what I need to do.